Hello YouTube, it's the Dbtgamer Show, episode 160, Final Fantasy IV The After Years Review, Part 2. If you haven't watched Part 1 yet, go back and watch it. I covered story, graphics, controls, music and gameplay. I also talked about some of the good stuff about this game. I also talked about quite a lot of the DLC. So if you haven't watched Part 1 yet, go back and watch it so you can keep what I'm saying. Now I'm going to pick up where I left off and talk about the next story. I've just finished off talking about Edward's story. Now I'm going to talk about the Lunarians. Lunarians is quite an interesting bit of DLC because you get to play as Gobez, who's the bad guy from the original Final Fantasy IV. It was quite an interesting bit of DLC, and I was quite surprised to see that Gobez is still alive after being totally annihilated by the final boss from the previous game. The final bit of DLC, which is quite expensive compared to all the other DLCs, the Crystals, also known as the Planet Eater, is the final bit of the story, and it basically brings all the characters together and ties up all the loose ends in the previous stories. There's also lots of side quests in the chapter called The Crystals, where you can unlock secret characters and get secret items. Also, in this bit of DLC, this is the only bit of DLC that you can transfer characters from other stories, which I thought was a really nice feature when I eventually figured out how to use it. Each bit of DLC is filled with lots of nostalgia. It's very, very similar to Final Fantasy IV, and it sort of brings back a lot of happy memories when I played Final Fantasy IV on the DS about a year ago. Final Fantasy IV on the DS was a really, really good game, and that's one of the main reasons why I bought this sequel. Throughout the game, there's lots and lots of different characters. I'm going to talk about a few of them briefly. Each character seems to have a certain job. Just to keep this short, I'm going to talk about the characters in my party, just for now. Cleodor, he's a pretty good party member. He's very similar to Cecil from the first game, but he's basically Cecil with a few more abilities. Because one of his best abilities is an ability called Awaken, which boosts Cleodor's powers temporarily. And that's a really useful one. He can also cast white magic, just the same as Cecil. But what makes Cleodor better than Cecil is the fact that he can cast higher level white magic than Cecil can. I mean, Cecil can use spells like Cura and Cura, whereas Cleodor can use white magic spells like Curaga, which is the second strongest healing magic spell in the game. So he's a very useful character, and he's also very, very strong. So he's one of my favourite characters throughout the game. And the next character I want to talk about is Kain. Now, Kain, throughout the game, undertakes a lot of changes. In the first part of the game, most of the time he's a Dragoon, and he's a pretty good character. But in the final part of the game, he becomes a Holy Dragoon. And the Holy Dragoon is one of the best job upgrades I've ever seen. I mean, he learns all his magic spells before he gets to level 15, which is really cool. Most of his white magic is pretty basic, but it's still very useful to have. He's got a couple of basic healing spells, he can heal status effects, he can trick foes with his blink, he can speed up party members, which is really useful, he can paralyze party members, he can also escape from dungeons. So, Kain's one of my favourite characters because he's just so useful now that he's been changed from a Dragoon to a Holy Dragoon. He can also do all the things he used to be able to do, like the jump command and that sort of thing. The next character I want to talk about is Rosa. Rosa is probably the best white mage in the game, although she does take a long time to train, but once you've leveled her up, she's well worth it. She's a white mage, but instead of using a staff like most white mages, Rosa is more suited to bows and arrows, and she can do a lot of damage with her bow and arrow if she has certain arrows equipped, like poisonous arrows and silence arrows. She can also cast a wide variety of white magic, although Rosa does take a while to learn certain spells, but once you learn all the spells you need, she's a very good character. One of her best abilities is definitely Blessing, which restores MP and HP. Really useful if you're running low on MP and you need just a little bit more to do your final attack to finish off the enemy. And the other thing that I really liked about was the aim ability, which increases their bow accuracy to 100% so she can damage the enemy more easily if the enemy is really, really fast. The next character I want to talk about is Rydia. Rydia is probably one of the best black mages throughout the game. But she's not just a black mage, she's a summoner as well, so she's almost godlike, and she's almost mandatory if you want to finish this game. I mean, it's probably one of the best characters in the game. I just really, really like her. I mean, she can cast black magic. Yes, she takes a while to learn quite a lot of these spells, just the same as Rosa, but in the end, she's definitely worth it. She can also summon espers to help you out in the battle. You've got Chocobo, Selphie, Ifrit, Shiva, Rama, Titan, Dragon, Odin, Ashura, Leviathan, and Bahamut. There's also a few unlockable espers if you can manage to find them by defeating certain enemies. So Rydia's a really good character. Your my favourite character is definitely Edge. Really good character. One of his best things about him, that since Edge is a ninja, he's really, really fast. He gets the attacks in first, quite a lot on certain enemies. He also has these abilities called ninjutsus, which are kind of like magic, and he can use them to help his partners out or himself out in battle. He's got one that heals him, one that sets enemies on fire, one that makes enemies get struck by lightning, one that freezes enemies, one that causes an earthquake, one that floods the entire field, which can be pretty useful, one that causes a tornado to come out, and one that can stop a target from moving, one that makes you escape from battles easy, which is pretty useful, and one that helps trick the enemies so they don't hit them as often. There are other characters throughout the game, but this is the party I tend to use when I'm in the final pack. And each party member has his own special skills and abilities, and there's a lot of opportunities to customise your party and pull off different tricks and stuff. So you can basically create any party you want, and depending on how you design your party, you can make the game more difficult for yourself. Also, throughout the game, there's lots and lots of different magic spells there. You've got black magic, which is most of these spells are quite offensive and they're mostly using for attack. And then you've got white magic, which most of the time is used for healing. You've also got summons, which summons giant creatures to your aid, which may have several different effects throughout the battles. Anyway, you've run out of time, so the next part I will talk more about this game. Bye!